Thank you for calling the National Anti-Corruption Commission. To submit a report, please go to the Commission's website, nacc.gov.au. Please note, we are unable to provide legal advice. Your call is in a queue and will be served as soon as possible.
Hello, thank you for contacting the National Anti-Corruption Commission. Speaking with Araminta. Could I just start with a first name, please?
Jeremy, you're breaking up a little bit just there. I don't know if it's my connection or not.
It might be me. Is that a bit better?
It's a bit better, yeah.
Okay,
My
sorry.
name's Jeremy.
Let's not repeat anything.
That's okay.
So, Jeremy, just before we begin, I do need to let you know the call may be monitored for training and quality purposes. If you'd like that not to happen.
I'd rather it also recorded for follow-up purposes because of what I have to say. But I have a couple of questions first.
So sorry to interrupt, but at the moment we're not recording calls, just because we're waiting for legal advice on that.
So you're not.
Well, we will be in the future.
So I'll have to get you to write a few things. So I have to get you to write a few things down or something.
Yes. So before we launch into that, could I just confirm, are you looking to submit a report today or make a general inquiry?
Both. I support, basically a couple of my friends have already made a report in my name, or tried to make a report in my name. I and them have repeatedly tried to make reports. Your website is blocking our reports. We click the submit button and we get a red message error every time, over and over, ever since the day that it opened. 9 a.m. the day it opened, I've been trying to make reports.
Okay. I haven't heard of this issue before. Could you tell me, is giving a notification with the red error?
I believe it was you that they spoke to about this. But you click submit on the report and it just comes up with a red error message. It can't process your application.
Okay. Have you tried a new web browser?
Tried everything solved day.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to do this on the phone. This is my last attempt. But I have a couple of questions for that. Is it okay if I ask a couple of questions first? Sorry, I'm very sick. Are you there?
No, it's okay. Yeah, I'm still there.
Is it okay if I ask a couple of questions first?
Yeah, of course.
So if you recall last year, about a year in advance, the National Anti-Corruption Commission was announced, right? And they said it's already written into law, and they said it will not be acted on for about a year. And it took about a year for it to actually become live, right? Do you recall that?
I understand what you're saying. So the National Anti-Corruption Commission Act was passed in November.
Before it was passed, it was advertised by politicians that they were going to do this months before that So they said we'll take about a year to set this up, and then a short time later they enacted it into law and all that kind of stuff, and then all the way until mid the next year, about a year after the announcement, it was finally acted on. Right, it was finally live, correct?
Okay.
So, if my question is, if politicians were going to advertise this National Anti-Corruption Commission a year in advance, promising protections for whistleblowers like myself, what do you think is going to happen if in that year that puts a big target on my head and other whistleblowers like me, a big target over our head with no protections whatsoever, with promised protections in a year's time, should they somehow survive? Do you understand how that puts a big target over my head for a year?
I understand what you're saying, but there are limits to what we can do in terms of processing.
That has nothing to do with my question.
I do, but I understand what you're asking me, but I'm not sure exactly how to respond, just because
it's a simple question.
There isn't... Okay, so if you could repeat...
Are you able to comprehend the concept and reality of that concept, that whistleblowers like me, a target was put on our head with a countdown timer of 365 days, with no protections whatsoever, that we have to wing it and survive for a whole year? Do you understand that or not?
I understand what you're saying.
Do you understand? Not just what I'm saying. Do you understand that that is exactly what happened to people like me? We had to survive for a year with a big target over our heads. Do you understand that that is a reality of a situation of many whistleblowers like myself?
I do understand what you're saying. Again, I can't comment on other whistleblower protections out there for you.
That's not my question.
I can speak to the protections that are in the NAP Act itself.
That wasn't my question. Doesn't answer my question.
I understand your concerns, okay?
Okay, that's the closest I can get is I understand your concerns. Very generic. Okay. So a couple of my friends did finally manage to get through on the phone. I couldn't, but they eventually did after many attempts. And they gave a video about me called The Faith That Moved Mountains, explaining a YouTube video explaining my situation, my life and death urgent situation as a whistleblower who needs urgent political asylum from railroading and framing in corrupt kangaroo courts over and over from every angle for 10 years. And this last year, after the announcement of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, it has stepped up on steroids. I'm sick, injured, dying, surviving countless assassination attempts, countless recordings of this, confessions of every corner of the local government involved, like police, social services, medical system, all confessing their crimes and intent to assassinate me for whistleblowing, all on camera, all on hidden camera over and over. Piles and piles of recordings of this. This isn't just hearsay, it's all on camera, their own words, their own faces, their own voices confessing this, right? I have these recordings, and a big sample of them are in this video that was offered to you about a week ago, I think. And I would like a follow-up on that. If I'm going to get these protections I'm promised, or I'm just going to die.
Look, I can't speak to exactly how your report will be actioned. We'll make an assessment of the report as it submitted.
Yeah, it was submitted. It was submitted about a week ago.
Sorry to interrupt. I can let you know the protections for whistleblowers that are within the Act, but for the moment, I can't provide you with specific
I was
details.
promised protections a year ago. I tried to survive a year, magically survived, barely clinging to life. I've been promised these protections from reprisals. I've got 10 years of reprisal attacks framed in kangaroo courts. Anyone who looks at the footage sees that they're just lying through their teeth, being railroaded over and over through psychiatry, over and over, like every whistleblower. This is a black and white, crystal clear case of corruption in every corner. What protections per political asylum can you give me? I need protection from psychiatric railroading.
Okay, look, so what I can tell you is that the NAP Act 2022 does provide a range of protections from anyone providing information or evidence about a corruption issue to the Commission. So unless that person knowingly provides false or misleading information. So this includes protection from civil, criminal, and administrative liability.
Yeah. Could I just pause you just there? I've been falsely accused of a crime. I've got proof that I'm innocent. That in kangaroo courts over and over, and they're using this as a justification to psychiatrically railroad me over and over again, that I've been doing for 10 years. Every time I try to report them for 10 years, every time I try to get medical assistance for the injuries they've done to me over and over, they come after me, they raid my home over and over hundreds of times, and they try to psychiatrically railroad them. I'm sure you're very familiar with this concept of psychiatric railroading. Everyone is. This is what they do to every whistleblower. This is what they're doing to me. I need protection from kangaroo court. I've been accused of no life of crime whatsoever. I've been accused of the lowest level crime of allegedly touching a man's arm for 0.1 seconds, which never happened. It's on the camera. But that's what I'm being accused of. So,
I understand your anger. We can't speak to judicial processes or decisions. That's not within our jurisdiction. So what we can do is we can look into corruption by Commonwealth public officials. Sorry,
what can you do to protect me? That's first and foremost. If you can't protect me, there's no point. What can you do to protect me?
Like I said, under the National Anti-Corruption Commission Act of 2022, it does provide protections from civil, criminal, and administrative liability, including disciplinary action, and from enforcement of contractual or other remedies or rights on the basis of disclosure to the National Anti-Corruption Commission. And it does make it a criminal offence for anyone to take or threaten to take reprisal action against another person.
So
in this
so I have
reprisal refers to detriment caused by one person to another on the basis of their knowledge or suspicion of a disclosure to the National Anti-Corruption Commission.
What about to other commissions as well? Reprisal attacks from that, because that's been going on as well. Does that extend to them?
So that wouldn't necessarily fall under our protections. There would be specific whistleblower protections in those instances separate to the National Anti-Corruption
they don't exist. No, that's not true. That's not true.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Jeremy. I'm really sorry to interrupt, but I cannot speak to the actions of other agencies in this.
But you just did.
Protections that they might provide you, other than. Sorry?
You just did. You told me they have whistleblower protections. They do not. None whatsoever.
Okay, well, I can't speak to specific agencies, and I can't provide you with legal advice in relation to that.
Okay, how's this? Can I just give you...
It's not clear to me what agencies...
Can you tell me if this can give me protection? Can I give you a little example, and you can tell me if this gives me protections, okay? I have, for example...
Again, sorry to interrupt, but I really cannot provide you with specific legal advice in relation to that. I'm just not qualified.
I'm not asking for legal advice. I'm asking for what you do. If you can give me protections, this is not legal advice.
Okay, well, ask your question and I'll see what I'm able to do in relation to it.
Okay. Firstly, is there a way I can confirm that that video that my friends tried to give to you has been reviewed or not?
So we can't comment on submissions by other people or any action.
They're done in my name.
Just for security purposes.
Yeah. Okay. Can I have a video. I can tell you, right? You can write this directly down on YouTube. It should be still up. If you type
I understand.
I have a video of evidence.
I can't take any action on things you're saying
can
now.
What you're asking me to give you something.
In relation to your allegation through a web form.
I can't do a web form. I can only do this over the phone. I'm trying to give you what you're asking, but you won't let me. Can I please give it?
Okay. So what I can do is our processes allow for me to take a web form submission on your behalf if you're unable to do it online yourself. But we'll have to go through the exact processes for that.
That's fine.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you'd like, we can go through that now.
Sure. Well, so
you have to go through all the questions in order.
So the evidence and stuff I want to give and my situation, my question, I have to ask after filling in the web form. Sure. But I need to hurry.
So there'll be questions within that web form relating to evidence and things like that.
Yes.
But we'll have to go through it in order.
Yes. Let's go then. Let's continue, please.
Okay. So I'll just get that web form up for you now. So we'll start with question 1, which is which entity does your submission relate to the most?
New South Wales Police Force.
Okay, I'm just going to say now that New South Wales Police don't fall within our jurisdiction. So we're the Federal Anti-Corruption Commission, so we look into actions by Commonwealth agencies. So a complaint about New South Wales Police would be better.
I've reported this to every single. I've reported this to every single watchdog agency in the country over 10 years. Me, others, even a diplomat. They targeted him and he disappeared over this.
I understand.
I get raided within hours every time I try to report it.
I understand what you're saying, but we're simply not able to investigate matters relating to a New South Wales Police unless that relates to
I'll give you another one. How about a family and community services and a contractor in their name who is a hired assassin by them, by housing and police, who admits it on camera that he's there to frame, gaslight, and impossible assassinate me over whistleblowing against all them. Their network of corruption. A contractor for the housing department. How's that? Because I was framed in a court for something I didn't do that's on camera proving I didn't do. I have no way of getting human rights. I'm going to get tortured. I have an appeal coming up. I just survived assassins the other day. Again, I'm on the run.
Okay.
I've got an appeal coming up. I can't turn up to that appeal because they're going to like I've done before. They're going to kidnap and torture me. I've been seeking protection from psychiatric railroading and kidnapping and just grab me on the street.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So this is a contractor for housing department who's on camera confessing his criminal intent to frame me in a kangaroo court with buddies in the police force who were involved with him in doing this.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Would you be
Does-
okay if I were to put you on hold and just consult with the manager as to how best
If
to
this,
approach
yeah,
this?
to see if this fits under the
Because-
category, is that right?
Sorry?
To see if this fits under something you can protect, is that right?
Yeah, and
So,
just
do you-
to consult with how best to approach it and
Okay,
your
just to-
situation, just because
before you go.
the agencies that you've listed so far are New South Wales government, and so therefore generally don't fit within our
Yeah,
jurisdiction.
so
I'll put
basically,
you on hold,
I've never
okay?
met in any of these so-called Commonwealth agencies. I've never heard of a single one of them. In fact, it's a National Anti-Corruption Commission that doesn't investigate anyone. I've never heard of a single one of these tiny number of groups that you can
So
investigate.
there are more agencies than in the drop-down menu that fall
No,
under
they
our
won't. No, yeah, they won't. They won't. There's things like
Right.
climate change
The
and
ones
stuff.
that you've listed so far aren't.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
so there are other Commonwealth agencies other than those that first come up
Okay.
in the web form, but
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily include. Well, it doesn't include state-based
Okay, so
agencies.
can I
which are
give you a
the ones that
couple
you've
of-
listed so
before you go and confer? Can I just make a few things crystal clear? The big three are the police force, the housing department, and the medical system, all working in tandem to railroad whistleblowers. Okay, those three. If you can write it down.
Okay, and so New South Wales Police Force.
Yep.
And
The Family and
South
Community
Wales.
Services, which is specifically
Okay.
housing department. The Department of Community Service, or whatever they call themselves. They call themselves different names. The housing department, basically.
my understanding, and you haven't confirmed whether that's New South Wales
Yeah.
Family and Community Services, but my understanding is that that's a New South Wales government department.
I understand you already said that.
Also fall
Yeah.
under New South Wales government.
Yeah, I've
but I will
tried.
consult.
Yeah, I've tried every corner for 10 years. So there's no point. Go report it here or there. I've tried the ombudsman, police integrity. A lot of these watchdog agencies got done for corruption themselves. They only investigate 2% of the complaints, so they say. I've done all that. No progress. They try to assassinate me within hours every time I try.
Again, if you're alright with it, I'm going to put you on hold.
Yeah,
and
but I need-
consult with
yeah.
manager.
I just needed to clarify the details to give that manager. Okay. So you wrote down those three.
Yes, so I have here.
Yeah,
New South
and
Wales
and
Police
I have
Family and Community Services and the Health Department.
Yeah, and there's one more detail to add. I'm
Yeah.
being framed. I can prove my innocence, but they won't give me a chance to. I don't get a chance to. I'm being framed for the lowest level crime, and I'm to be psychiatrically railroaded yet again for the lowest possible crime that I didn't do, and I have no avenue I can take to avoid being railroaded. None. I'm trapped from every angle for a crime I didn't commit, psychiatrically railroaded and drugged. And the man that I'm accused of assaulting, I'll give you a moment. You're writing it down? You there?
Yep. Yes, I am.
Sorry, it's too much information, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So.
And the man I'm accused of assaulting is a contractor for the housing department. Wrote that down?
Yeah.
Okay, he's a contractor for the housing department, and he's on camera confessing his intent to gaslight, frame, and assassinate me over whistleblowing in cahoots with those groups that I formerly mentioned. I can say that again if it's a bit too much.
So on camera confessing his intent to assassinate.
Gaslight.
Yeah.
Provoke. Frame. And
Yeah.
assassinate me
Yeah.
over whistleblowing on camera. And they're all on camera over 10 years. And the video that I'll give you will show examples of these recordings over whistleblowing. And over the past year, since the National Anti-Corruption Commission, and I've made public that I'm going to report them, if I can survive, I'm going to report them to the National Anti-Corruption Commission. So everything over the past year, all these court cases and everything that they're doing, all these kangaroo courts, they've been doing a series of kangaroo courts. These are reprisal attacks over not just reporting to other royal commissions, but specifically to this one. That's why they've stepped up their game with these attacks. Because of this report that I'm trying to make. So this guy's a contractor. I hope you got enough information. So he's a contractor for the housing department, admitting he's in cahoots.
Again, sorry to interrupt, Jeremy, but again, all I can do right now is, because we haven't started the full process.
So you want to go refer now?
All I'm doing is taking down information that I'll be consulting with my manager in relation to. Because so far, all the information you've provided me with looks like it relates to state bodies.
Can you just add one more thing? Just add one more thing. This has been repeatedly reported to every watchdog agency and state agency for 10 years. And every single time they come after me within hours and my complaint goes missing. Every single time. Every single corner, every single watchdog agency. And I've documented myself doing so. I've documentation of all this.
Okay. If you're alright, if I put you on hold.
Okay, just before you do, is there an ETA you can give me, roundabouts?
Look, it just depends on when the manager gets back to me, but I won't keep you on hold for more than a couple of minutes.
Thank you, that's fine. As long as it's not an hour or something, that's all right.
You know.
Thank you, I just need an ETA there, thank you.
Yes, I can't guarantee if they'll get back to me in that time, but I'll check in with you before.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
About 30 minutes if we're not done, I'm gonna.
on mute then?
Yeah, I'm still here. Thanks for coming back.
Okay, sorry for that wait. I'm just waiting for a reply if you're alright to hold on.
Yeah, you just don't, please don't take too much. I'm scared of. They'll have to hang up and run again. You know what I mean? In my situation,
Yeah,
I can't be anywhere for too long. In my
Look,
situation.
I don't want to give you any false expectations. What we can do for you, like I said, all the agencies that you've mentioned do fall out of our jurisdiction. So our hands are pretty tied in what we're able to do in relation to that. But I am asking for some further advice.
Thank you. So I'm basically screwed, aren't I?
Look, again, I can't speak to your exact predicament, other than referring you to the New South Wales ICAC.
Yeah, I went to the ICAC, yeah. You know what they did? They brought a police officer in, he folded his arms and smirked at me and started laughing when I tried to make a complaint. I went there in Sydney in person, and they just laughed at me.
Okay.
I'm not just any whistleblower. If you look at my friend's complaint, you'll see who I am. I help other whistleblowers. That's why there's a big target over my head.
I understand that. I understand what you're saying, but just in relation to our jurisdiction, there is really nothing we can do in relation to agencies that are state government. Our jurisdiction is purely Commonwealth, and if the conduct does involve a Commonwealth official in some way, it can be within our jurisdiction. But in relation to the agencies,
Who is a Commonwealth official?
Yeah, so Commonwealth officials are the heads of department or staff of a department of a Commonwealth agency or parliamentarian.
What is a Commonwealth agency?
So anything that is an agency relating to federal government. So federal government.
Okay, here's one. I can give you one. Scott Morrison. I sent a political asylum request a couple of years ago to Scott Morrison. He sent an assassin and I've got documentation elsewhere. I think on my Royal Commission Consequences video on my YouTube. I think I've got it there. He basically sent a wink assassination order to Glasborough Dicklian to take me out, and within a day the raids and everything, the psychiatric swattings and everything began. Again, for 2 weeks, every day. I had to go on the run again. I asked him for political asylum so I can get medical treatment to save my life. We'll give you the wink medical treatment you want. We'll pass this on to Gladys Berejiklian. I got the response, the email from them. And then what happens? Psychiatric swattings. No medical attention was given to me. No political asylum protection from the very psychiatric swattings. No, they did the very thing that I'm asking for protection against. You understand that? Scott Morrison and Gladys Berejiklian.
I understand what you're saying. It has to relate to corrupt conduct by a Commonwealth.
Oh yeah,
official.
I think assassinating and psychiatric railroading of whistleblowers is as high as crime as it gets.
Okay. Look, if you want me to take down a web form submission for you, I can do that.
I don't have time.
I don't have
time. Look.
Sorry.
I don't have time here. Look. If you're saying you can't help me in any way whatsoever, then why are you going to confer with these people and leave me on hold?
Because I'm waiting for a response.
For what? About what?
A response as to how best to deal with it. From where I'm sitting, it looks like the conduct is out of jurisdiction. If it does relate to Scott Morrison, like you said, it could be. But I just don't want to give you any false expectations of what we can do for you in this instance.
But you're saying you can't do anything, so why are you saying you can or you can't? I don't know which it is.
From where I'm sitting, and the information that you've provided to me, the only thing I can see us being able to do anything in relation to is conduct by a Commonwealth public official, and which you
can't do anything to protect
Scott Morrison was involved.
Yep.
So we could potentially do something in relation to that if.
I can give you a long list of politicians too, by the way.
We assessed it to be within our jurisdiction and to constitute.
Daniel Lepers, Mark Latham,
Sorry?
Pauline Hanson, all these people. I've got evidence of their crimes, because I reached out to these people too.
Okay.
The same cover-ups and threats and abuse and gaslighting from them all, and especially Mark
like I
Latham.
said-
More psychiatric swottings from Mark Latham.
Jeremy, I'm sorry to interrupt. So like I said, if you do have time to submit a web form with me now, we can do that.
Okay, well, can we submit a web form first? And if you're waiting on someone, there's no reason why we can't do the web form now.
Yeah, so we can start with the web form while we're waiting.
Sure, thank you. Because time is critical to me. I need to go.
I understand. I just don't want to give you any false expectations of what will come out of it.
Yeah, well, basically, I'm going to die, and I need human rights and political asylum, and not a single part of this country or government can give me any basic human rights to prevent from being tortured.
I'm not 100% sure what you mean by political asylum in this context.
I'm being persecuted for 10 years. I've been psychiatric railroading, endless court cases. So half of them they just cancel halfway through. The others they follow through with and just make up ridiculous lies in court. And I just get technicalities pulled on me without convictions. Now they're pulling convictions over the most ridiculous, impossible crime imaginable. It's every angle, and the worst part is the psychiatric swottings, the railroading. I would rather die than be drugged and tortured again by psychiatry. I would rather die than be psychiatric railroaded. Put me in prison for life for something I've never done. Fine, I don't care. Do not psychiatric railroad in any circumstances whatsoever. I wouldn't allow it under any circumstances, though absolutely anything within our power to prevent that from happening again. I've been tortured to oblivion and back. I would not allow it to happen again. Is that clear?
I do understand what you're saying.
Okay, so let's continue the web form.
I just want to talk you through what will happen if you do submit a report, just so you don't have any false expectations of how it will pan out. So what will happen is I'll take down the information that you have in relation to the questions within the web form.
Yep.
And then that will then be assessed to see whether it's within our jurisdiction and whether there's any elements of corrupt conduct as it appears within the National Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2022. And we'll be looking to give you a response as to our assessment within about 90 days.
Yeah. What about urgent life or death? I don't have 90 days to live. What about urgent situations of life and death?
So urgent situations of life and death, we would be escalating that it would be an escalation to a first responder to do a welfare check.
Welfare checks. The exact psychiatric swottings. Okay. Psychiatric swottings. Okay, I think we're done.
Okay. So just to confirm, would you like to continue with the submission?
Am I going to get a welfare check if I continue with this submission?
I can't guarantee either way,
bye-bye.
but it is.
Okay. Wyong Hospital is a primary place where I've been extensively tortured by the hands of convicted mass murderer George Slawinski and many others. George Slawinski, convicted mass murderer, quietly put him in prison because of a massive global protest against this guy, the psychiatric conspiracies he was involved in. He goes to prison, gets released a short time later, gets put into supposed to mass murder and everything under the sun. Gets released not that long later and put in charge of Wyong Hospital psychiatric facility with extreme powers more than the Prime Minister as a professional torturer and assassin. George Slawinski, looking him up. Craig Thompson, was he the Minister of all kinds of things, but known as the Minister of Health, I think, in Central Coast region. Good done for 120 counts of fraud, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. They had to make him quietly go away because of the revelations that were coming out. Same thing as George Slawinski. Was it Harry Bailey, not far away, right? Look up Harry Bailey. Was it Laurie Ma, Central Coast Mayor. Good done for like 100 and something counts of. This will get me banned. This video banned for him saying to children at homeless shelters. Think I'd be safe in a homeless shelter? Hell no. Most the only unsafe places of all, by the hands of the Central Coast Mayor himself. I'll go on and on. Wyong Hospital. There was one scandal that broke out in Wyong Hospital because of a little girl's broken neck, and Channel 7 News decided to ask for the same Channel 7 who tried to get me taken out when I went to them. I was an army, like a big massive SWAT team came after me. Told me to meet with the evidence and documents I had to meet them in a certain place and time in half an hour. Oh, they were late, and I'm thinking, no, this is not right. You do this right away. Why are they late? I ran and hid. Short time later, SWAT team comes looking for me. So it's the same Channel 7 for whatever conspiratorial reasons they decide to cover that one particular Wyong Hospital scandal. 7 News asked the public, hey, if anyone has any more complaints about Wyong Hospital, like serious complaints like this, like where people died or really bad shit, send them over here. They got 7,000 complaints from one hospital within 24 hours. So then they just got bombarded. That's the last number they gave, and then it got bombarded so much that they had to shut it down. They promised they'd cover every story. I wonder how many of those people who made those complaints are now no longer living or have been psychiatrically railroaded. There's so much I could say, I've got no time. It's like Isaiah 53 says, who of his generation protested? They will do things that will make him scarcely recognizable as a human with the mutilation and torture they will do to him. But they won't break a single bone. They will do far worse. They will pierce him with needles, psychiatric swattings, forced drugging and torture and mutilation, causing human suffering beyond the natural human capacity. Because your brain has a shut off from pain that creates a euphoria in place of your pain. They disable that and maximize the pain even further beyond the normal human capacity. None of you help me. None of you help me. If you're not going to help me survive, help me die without being tortured. Please.